Hey there traders, it's Jeff from thestockbandit.com. I'm sure glad that you've joined me for this video. So in the last couple of weeks we've seen some pretty interesting price action. Hopefully you've, by the way, had a nice Thanksgiving. You're getting ready for a new week of trading. So these last couple of weeks what we've done is essentially break down pretty good, and then now we've rebounded right back to about where we were roughly a month ago. So that's created this big V-shaped move. And it's been taking place in recent sessions, in fact over the last 5 sessions, on diminishing volume, which is to say that this rebound is seeing price go up while volume or participation goes down. Now this is a relationship that we see a lot of times around Thanksgiving, and that is simply due to the lack of activity in the market and a lot of traders stepping away from their screens to go tend to other things like spend time with family or travel, and that's certainly a good thing to do, but we kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. If this were to happen a month ago when there really was no holiday present, this would be a great big concern. However, the fact of the matter is the lighter volume is to be expected on Thanksgiving. The other piece of the puzzle is the fact that now we've created some pretty good distance between current prices and this recent low down here. So for the Nasdaq, we've got this low right down here at 2810. And currently we're about 156 points above that. And what that does is now allow this index, just like the others, to pull back some and have the possibility of creating a low or a higher low compared to this low right here. And that's what we really need to see take place to really change the tide. It's not so much that we need to rally up on the first bounce here and clear this prior high. That's just not very likely that we extend all the way back up there without some kind of a pullback. I suppose it's possible, it's just becoming very unlikely. And so really the more likely scenario is that we've rallied here pretty sharply in V-shaped fashion. We then pull back to some kind of a higher low, and who knows where that is. I'm not underlining a particular price here, but then we've got the higher low scenario here, and then we've got something for the bulls to really build on. So they're off to a good start here with this nice big bounce, but they need to create that higher low, not only in the Nasdaq but in each of the indices. So for the Nasdaq, in terms of levels, we're through this 2961 after this little 5-day rally here. By the way, off the low of that previous Friday. So for these most current 5 bars here, this index is up about 5.5% in that 5 days. So we're through 2961. On the upside, we have an unfilled gap here, and that goes to right here, 3011. And then on the downside, the most pressing level right here is to Wednesday's close from last week, and that's a gap down to 2926. So keep a close eye on those levels here in the next few days. For the S&P 500, this index is back above 1395 after also tacking on a little greater than 5% here in 5 sessions. So very positive lift here in terms of price, even though again the volume has been diminishing. But now for the S&P, now that we're back above this 1395, the next big level on the way up is right up here around 1426. We saw that was this high right back here, right there on the 21st of August, 1426. And then we saw not only that resistance area become support a few weeks later, but also a couple of months later, as it repeatedly provided support here until it was broken. And once we broke through there, we stayed beneath it. We've fallen, and now we've rallied back up toward it. So we'll see if that 1426 comes into play in the days ahead. For the Dow, this index is obviously excellent. Let me come right back to that. Let's take a look at the Russell first, which has seen a very sharp V-shaped bounce. This index up significantly, almost 6% over the past 5 bars from the low of that prior Friday right down here. But for the Russell, this index is now back at this 807 level. It's a level I've pointed out a number of occasions. It's interesting that we came right to that as of Friday's close. We now have this small gap to the downside to Wednesday's close right down here to 798. I think that's really the first order of business. And on the way up, if we are able to continue past this 807 area, then the next gap to fill is going to be right up to here, and that's at 825. Now back to the Dow for just one more look here at this senior index, lower highs are still in place, so we've still got that going. However, this big V-shaped bounce here provides some ability for a decent pullback here to create a higher low of some sort. So we'll see how that plays out. But for now, the Dow is back up here challenging this prior support area. So we had found some temporary support in late October, 13,039, 13,040. That's where this yellow line is. Now we're just within a few points of that as of Friday's close. So we've seen a very big bounce here. The real order of business now for the bulls, now that they've produced a decent bounce and seen a little bit of short covering coming along with that, even if it happens on Thanksgiving week when volume is light, the next order of business is to provide support on the next pullback. So we need to pay very close attention to the character of this next dip. That's what's going to give us the most insights going forward. Thanks for joining me for this video. I will have more for you soon, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.